Good evening, I'm Ariana and you're watching HYC News. Mental health is becoming an increasingly important part of conversations about overall health. However, access to mental health care remains unequal across many communities. At the same time, issues like reproductive health care and environmental conditions continue to impact the health and well-being of millions of people. Tonight, we take a closer look at how mental health and health qualities are connected and why addressing these issues is essential to improving public health. Now to our field reporter Serenity for more.
Thank you, Ariana. When people think about health, they often think about physical wellness. However, experts say mental health is just as important. Factors such as where someone lives, their income, and the resources available in their community can all affect whether they receive the care they need. These differences are at the center of what public health experts call equity. Health equity means that everyone has a fair opportunity to achieve their best possible health, regardless of their background or circumstances.
Thank you, Serenity. Next, we'll go to our other field reporters, Dario and Gabriel, as they interview Mr. Jonathan, a Roseboro youth counselor and expert on mental health.
Thank you for being here. My first question is what are some healthy ways teens can manage stress?
I would say some healthy ways to manage stress as a teenager is basically keeping themselves occupied, whether it's like sports, reading, doing a hobby that they like doing, going out with family. So it's just like stuff like that, keeping themselves occupied.
That's really helpful for somebody that's going through stress and very hard times. Another question is why is it important to ask for help when you're struggling?
I would say because many of the times you don't know what the other person is going through. So you might think someone is okay, everything's cool, they're smiling, they're laughing, but at the end of the day, they might have that one minute that they're not okay. So it's always good to check up on them because at that time you could actually like help that person, saying how you doing, everything's okay, and just check on them.
All right, so another question is how can stress affect a person's mental and physical well-being?
Stress is something that it may not seem as crazy, but it is crazy because it
Yeah.
takes up so much space in your head that that's the only thing that you think about. Oh no, I had to pay this. Oh no, for y'all in school, I have homework, or I have to make sure I have good grades. Oh, what my mom's gonna think. Oh, this, and that. So it takes too much time in your head. So that's the only thing I think about. So that's what causes us to be overwhelmed, to have these feelings of anger, sadness. So I would say that's something that's very serious.
I can agree. What are some common signs that someone may be struggling with their mental health, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I would say just the way they act, their patterns, different, attitudes, their character changing, and just like stuff that seems off. If you know a person that they're usually a certain way and all of a sudden they just change, so stuff like that you could see that something's bothering them.
When a person is talking to you face to face and they make some signs towards you, does it become obvious if they're struggling with mental health or not?
Yeah, it for sure makes it obvious because at that point, they're asking, that's their cry out for help. So it's always good to be aware of those signs as the person that is trying to help them, so that we could always be aware. Because many of the times it just takes one little thing that they do different that actually catches your attention. Be like, okay, let me see if this person is okay. Let me check up on them.
Next, we'll take it to the sidelines for the sports and weather with Tristan.
Hi, my name is Tristan Jones, and tonight I will be updating you about sports media. In sports, LeBron James is making headlines after leaving the Los Angeles Lakers and signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Rather than being traded, James chose free agency. This means he was able to choose which team he wanted to join. He reportedly signed a 2-year contract worth $8 million dollars with the Philadelphia 76ers. This drastically changed NBA politics. Now, I will transition over to Gabriel, where he will inform you about baseball.
In other sports news, Major League Baseball could be facing a major challenge in the upcoming years. The league and the players' union are currently negotiating a new labor agreement before the current contract expires on December 1st, 2026. One of the biggest disagreements involves a proposed salary cap. A salary cap could place a limit on how much teams can spend on a player's salary. Team owners believe this could help create a major balanced league. However, the players' union argues that it could limit players earning potentially if the two sides cannot reach an agreement. Major League Baseball could enter a lockout.
N- Now, let's take a look at the weather. Today, we can expect periods of rain with a 45% chance of precipitation. If you're heading outside, make sure to bring an umbrella and wear proper rain gear. Looking ahead, temperatures will change throughout the week with mostly sunny conditions. Tuesday will have a high of 83 degrees and a low of 79 degrees. Wednesday will reach a high of 89 degrees with a low of 73 degrees. Thursday will be the warmest day of the week with temperatures reaching 93 degrees and a low of 83 degrees. Friday will cool down slightly with a high of 80 degrees and a low of 67 degrees. Saturday will remain cooler with a high of 78 degrees and a low of 69 degrees. On Sunday, temperatures will rise again, reaching a high of 97 degrees with a low of 83 degrees. That's your sports and weather update. Back to you.
Dynamic duo. Thanks, guys. Next, we'll have another community interview with education specialist Molly Wash and our two field reporters Tristan Jones and Serenity Allen.
My name is Serenity, and I'm an executive producer, and I'm also in broadcast journalism.
My name is Tristan Jones, and I'm the field reporter for Broadcast Journalism.
All right, so my question for you is, how is healthcare important?
I would say healthcare is important to me because it gives everybody an opportunity to lead a healthy lifestyle, and it gives everybody an opportunity to be educated. And I really didn't think about these questions in advance. I gotta think a little bit. I think healthcare is important to me because equal access to healthcare really levels the playing fields for different people. And I think when we're talking about healthcare, equal access is really important because it gives everybody an opportunity to lead a healthy lifestyle and have an opportunity to live longer, be healthy, and do the things that they want to do, be happy, and that really starts with being healthy. And access to healthcare is really where that starts.
My name is Tristan, and my question for you is, what actions can you take to where it can be more accessible for the youth? Because you work in the building with kids, for the youth to get better healthcare. Because some people aren't able to, get that type of healthcare due to living situations and low income. So how would you make it more accessible to us?
Yeah. I would say for me personally, actions that I try to take, one, as somebody who works in education, I think continuing to take action in that regard and just really do what I can as someone who works in education, continuing to teach people about healthcare, why healthcare is so important, and what we can do to take action in our community in that regard. I also think something that's really important is voting and teaching young people the importance of voting. I think voting is one of the most important powers that we have, and ensuring that we're voting for people who are prioritizing healthcare for everybody, and equal access to healthcare is so important. So something that I try to do with my vote is vote for people who are prioritizing healthcare, and also encouraging young people to, when they become old enough to vote, prioritize the same thing with their votes as well.
And have you ever had a negative experience with the healthcare system?
I would say that I have. There are medications that I take and things that I understand about my needs in my body So I would say that I have had negative experiences with healthcare. I think a lot of people can say that we have an understanding of what we need, and there are times when I have had asks for a doctor of medication that I need or things that I understand about what I need, and a doctor or a healthcare professional has not honored that, and I really have had to kind of fight a little bit harder for something that I need than I think I have needed to, and I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that anyone should have to do that. And ultimately, I was able to get what I needed, but again, had to fight a little bit harder than I should have. And so I hope that as time goes on and we really prioritize healthcare more, that more people can get what they need out of healthcare without having to ask so much for it. And I think particularly for women, women often have to fight really hard to be heard in the healthcare system more than other people. And so I hope our healthcare system can really hear women a little bit more than they do oftentimes.
But yeah, so sometimes the healthcare, from everything that you're saying, is that the healthcare system can be unfair to certain groups of people or certain genders. So what do you feel is better, like equity or equality?
I mean, as we know, equity and equality aren't the same thing, right? So I would say equity, right? Equality is the same thing for everyone, and I don't think equality is the answer. Not everybody needs the same thing versus equity being everybody getting what they need. So I think the solution in the healthcare system would be equity, because equity would be everybody getting what they need. What you need is going to be different what I need and different from what you need. So I think the solution would be equity. That way everybody is getting the answer and the solution that they need personally.
All right, so thank you so much for your time.
And here was some positive news from ABC 7. The RBC Brooklyn Half on May 16 was especially meaningful for one runner who has overcome extraordinary obstacles to get back on the course. Jessica Aguilar has lost part of her leg after being struck by a drunk driver. She says running inspired by her daughter has helped her reclaim confidence, purpose, and joy. In December 2022, Aguilar faced a life-changing obstacle after a night with her friends. She was struck by a truck that dragged her 40 feet. She lost 7% of her right leg. Due to the injuries, Aguilar was told she wasn't going to run again. She said the impact of concrete was, quote, too much for her leg to sustain, end quote. But that changed with her running daughter. After the daughter saw pictures of Aguilar running in college, she had an idea to sign Aguilar up for a half marathon that would raise money for her school. In the words of Miss Aguilar, I'm a better mom to my daughter because of it. And now she has his mother who has shown her what resilience looks like and like not to. Thanks for watching. I'm Ariana Alexander with HYC News signing out.